quantum timeline jumping.
Timeline jumping. Okay. Tell me all about it, please.
All right. Well, I mean, it is related with quantum physics, and it's, there's quite some quantum physics involved. But what I like about it is actually, on the one hand, it's scientific. What quantum physics has well come up with, especially the more progressive part of quantum physics and spirituality, and actually they're coming beautifully together. Yeah, and it's all about the field. It's the field of the quantum field, which is everywhere. And I always describe the field as a balloon, for instance, right? You blow up a balloon and the balloon grows.
Okay. It's expansion.
It's expansion, but there's air everywhere in the balloon, right? There's not one single spot in the balloon that is without air. It's equally spread out everywhere, and it's omnipresent within the balloon. Well, that's the same thing with the quantum field. It's omnipresent within our universe, and very likely beyond as well. But let's just stick to our universe.
And within the balloon, the space, the air in the balloon just appears space if you're looking at the balloon.
Yes, and like the air looks like space, and it seems almost empty or something, right? But the empty space is not just empty. It is full with energy, and even they have tried to put. They've done studies on really in the vacuum, even within an atom, the smallest tiny part of space, and try to bring it down to almost 0 Kelvin, which is 273 minus in centigrade, I think.
You're blowing my head now. You're blowing my head with this stuff, like.
Yeah, so there's absolute zero point where everything should be dead, nothing should be alive, there should be no vibrations. Yet within space itself, within the vacuum, or there is still energy. So you can never kill it. You cannot kill that energy. So that's what they call the 0 point energy. And if the temperatures are higher, then the energy within space is tremendous. It's huge.
Yeah, energy cannot be created or destroyed.
No, it cannot.
Just is.
It is. It is always. It just changes form, and that's why energy is actually at the base or at the foundation of our universe. So, because energy has a vibration, and a vibration actually holds information. So the more progressive, quantum physics now say that energy is fundamental because it holds information, and actually it's the language of the universe. And by changing form, it translates. It tells exactly what everything needs to become. And so all potential outcomes that are possible are within the field, stored as energy and information, but they haven't materialized yet. They haven't,
So we have to bring our vibration frequency to a point that aligns and matches to that outcome.
The thing, I always say there's potential energy and there's real energy, and potential energy has all the potential outcomes, but it hasn't manifested yet. So it's still nothing because it's just there in pure potentiality. But you have real energy, is that what gives the coding or the language, or tells how atoms should structure in order to create reality that we see. And so it's the thing that changes, that makes potential energy change into real energy, that creates our reality, is consciousness. So through consciousness we create that.
Yes. Oh, that. I understand that completely.
Yeah, and our consciousness, for instance, I always try to explain it, is built out of 5 layers. So you have your mental part, where you have all your thoughts that has a vibration and sends out an energy. Then you have your emotions. Yeah, they send out a vibration and an energy. Then you have the physical part. Your body, is full of energy, is constantly emitting energy. And then you have an energetic body, where all the energy streams through your body go. That has its own vibration. And then you have your spiritual vibration, and all that together is the total state or sum of your consciousness. and that has a certain vibration, and vibrations attract
And
each other.
this is your entire toroidal field, the
That's exactly who
the
you are.
electromagnetic field that runs around your own core. You're the core.
Yes, we
And
are.
you are your own universe, therefore.
We are on the bioelectromagnetic field, which has all these fluctuations of energies of all these layers of who we are, emitting it out, and actually it changes with every second. It's emitting it out, sending it into the field. The field takes it in as information and stores it. So every little tiny little movement is stored within that field. So yeah, it's amazing, and that's why it's so full of energy, because it holds all the information of everything that's happening.
So for anyone listening to this, who would you recommend that they would start listening to try and get an understanding of epigenetics and understand the quantum field? Is there anything that people can look at that would be mainstream videos or something that they start to get an understanding of what you're talking about, so they'll really be able to get into it if they did decide to have a quantum timeline jump?
Yes, well, my favorite physicist is Nassim Haramein. He's like, I think he's Lebanese, but grew up in Switzerland, and he has beautiful theories about how everything comes together, and he's looking for the theory of everything, right? Where where physics are connected, where quantum physics is connected to cosmology, because these two are completely different theories which don't match yet. So we don't have one theory that explains everything. The quantum world is completely different from the cosmological world, but it cannot be, right? It's one thing. So it's to be something.
So they say. I don't know, but I'm on the line path anyway. So when we get there, I'll tell you all about it.
Well, and quantum timeline jumping is all about understanding time as well. It's in this 3D reality, it looks very linear, but if you move up a dimension, you come into the fourth dimension of time, and there it's not linear at all. Actually, I always say all time exists all the time, and it's just that we navigate with our consciousness. We're just conscious of one part of that total time continuum, but all the time exists, and we're constantly hopping between different timelines. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and a timeline is something that you have a past, a present, and a future. And if a tiny little event changes in the past, you've seen the movie Back to the Future, probably, right?
Yeah. I would have watched them. I'm not a fan of TV now anymore, but I would have watched them.
No, I mean, it's like 30 years old, but
the Nutty Professor was my man. I loved him.
But you see how you change one tiny little thing in the past, the timeline changes and changes the whole outcome to the present and into the future. Yeah. So, and if you understand that, if you can travel from this time point back into the past and change a tiny little thing, or your future self can come to the present and change a tiny little thing, then your timeline switches. And
so what you're doing, so question for you, when because I'm really looking forward to doing this with you, I'm really looking forward to doing this with you. So when we go back, I'm not changing anything about what happened. I'm changing about my response to what happened. Is that right?
Well, yes. If you're
I'm changing my understanding of the event. Therefore, I have a different path.
Let me just give you an example. Which is one part of it is we go back into a timeline to go find a limiting belief when it started out, and we ask your body.
Don't be giving away any of your secrets now.
I won't. Yeah. But the beauty is that if you change a limiting belief or in the past by who you are in the present now, and you can talk to that little boy or that little girl who was hurt at a certain point in their lives, but you can give them a little bit more confidence by being the one who you are right now, talking from your present self to your past self, and give that little boy or little girl just a little bit more confidence. Things change, and their inner perspective changes, but by their inner the outer world is only a mirror from the inner world. So by changing something internally, you change the outer world and you change your entire timeline.
Absolutely. It's amazing. That is.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that now myself.
And the beauty is that we're with a quantum timeline jumping. We're going to jump. I guide people to hoop through the fourth, into the fourth dimension, into the fifth, whereas everything, that's the sea of possibilities, to meet your most perfect version of yourself in the quantum realm. So I call that the quantum self. And you meet your most perfect quantum self, and you can ask that version of you questions, or you can ask that version of you to show you around, and ask, how did that person, how did he or she become, and what was the path, and what tips do they have for you. And in the end, I want you to merge energetically, so that your body and that your whole soul remembers that vibration. And
So you're going forward in time to meet your highest aspect then.
Exactly. And
you're allowing that to come into you, so you're bringing it back into the avatar, back into the body.
You're merging energetically with it, so that your body understands that vibration, and then you can always you recognize that vibration, and you can always guide yourself back to that timeline of that perfect, because there's only one timeline that leads to your most perfect self, right? Where you self-actualize, and where you live your purpose.
You become the best possible version of yourself.
Yes. And there's timelines that are very near to it, and you hop from one to the other. But if you stay on that very close to I call it the sacred timeline, because you live your purpose. If you stay close to that one and constantly make sure that you're just next to it or on it, and then you are set to really manifest everything into your life of that most abundant version of yourself. So it's a really, really very powerful because it's all about frequency, and you're learning to integrate that frequency within you so that you can emit it into the field constantly.
This like the more you've spoke about that, like you do constellation work anyway, don't you?
Yeah, family constellations as well, and that works on the same principle, right? It's
fantastic synergy together, because it's the constellation within that toroidal field that we're speaking about.
Well, it's the quantum field. It's the same, and with constellations, you put 10 strangers into a room, and you ask them to play. Well, that's not playing a part, but to sense and tune in into somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's brother, and it plays out. They sense exactly what the dynamics were within that family, and they just pull it out of the quantum field, and you just see it playing out right in front of you. That's why I always like to use that as a that's the proof, right? We don't know each other yet.
Yeah.
It plays out through us perfectly, showing us what the dynamics were, what was standing in the way, and what was not seen, or what was avoided, or what was pushed out, and it's just showing us, and it's coming from the field. So all the information is there. It's just, if you learn how to tune into it, actually you can get any information that you need. Also about healing diseases, or healing things that your emotional body, etc. All the answers are within the quantum field. It's just about learning how to connect with it and extract that information, so it helps you get into a higher frequency. And I always say, the higher frequency you get, there's more energy. If there's more energy, things become more complex. And so you open your bandwidth, right? It's constantly opening your bandwidth till you're like mega fiber optic cable connected to God.
But you begin to realize that maybe I am the light. I am the light.
Absolutely, because it's you start to sense it, you start to feel it, and you start to unite with it, and then that's when things really start changing in your life. Yeah, that's a beautiful tipping point that I always
and in everybody's life around you.
Yes.
Everything gets better for everybody around you.
Yeah, that is absolutely true, because, like I said, your outside world is just a mirror from the inside. Yeah. So if you start to emanate different frequencies and different,
love, if you start tapping into love, tapping into true love, you just become, because that pure divine sacred light that you're speaking of is pure love.
Yes,
it's pure love. and it's
Because
flowing
that's
through you all the time. It wants to express itself out through you.
yeah, that's what holds everything together, right? Love is love is the one that
It's the air in the balloon. It's the ether.
it's the air in the balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, no, I mean, it's a beautiful concept, and
My battery is running low on this phone, but hold on, I'm going to plug in the magic cable here. Watch this.
oh, that's extending
the light.
bandwidth, expanding your frequency right there.
Yeah. Now you're back.
Yeah.
You're back. You're back.
So yeah, no, actually, we're doing and next weekend we're doing a little sneak.
We have a fantastic gig running up here in Anam Croi next weekend, the 23rd to the 25th. Amazing tribe have come together through Lakeshore Wellness. Yvonne Skelly, amazing soul, beautiful divine white light herself, and she's doing amazing work. She's a master connector, and she's connected everybody that's becoming themselves, and they're starting to they know that they're here to make a difference to everything around them, and we're here to show people that you can do this too. And if we can teach everybody to love themselves, and then they bring that into the families, we'll have a complete change of society, complete change of family. There's a lot of stuff that's happening out in the world at the moment that is anti-family. It's about bringing reducing families, reducing the footprint. It's all a lot of nonsense. We don't need to get rid of ourselves. We need to start loving ourselves.
Yeah.
if you want to get rid of yourself, you don't love yourself. Like.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I like the way you say it. Yeah. I mean, self-love is the key to dramatic change that we need. Yeah. And that's and it's so simple.
Yeah.
Yet so hard to love yourself sometimes, because we are so critical and so judgmental to ourselves and
each other, and that's what we have to learn. That's what we have to learn. You have to learn not to judge yourself. That it's okay to feel the way you feel. It's okay to have had the experiences that you've had, but it doesn't mean that it has to affect the way you live your life tomorrow.
No,
absolutely. It's okay to have had them experiences, but they're gone. They're in the past. You no longer are having that experience. You're having an experience right now. But if we sit recalling all of the experiences of the past, our traumatic past, we're bringing that into our present body. We're bringing that into the present moment, because the body doesn't know. We spoke about this earlier in the conversation, the past, the present, the future. The body itself, the avatar, doesn't know the difference between the past, the present, and the future. It's only here right now. Here, right now, my avatar is being used to speak to you.
Yes.
Yeah. And if I was to use my mind, which is not my body, it's the I that's using the mind, which is not my body. That's 3. Yeah. If I was to use my mind to go back onto a memory and recall it within the body, because the body stores that memory, recall it within the body. I'll recall the memory. I'll go through the moment that I felt that wasn't a great one, because it was a feeling you had at the time. Therefore, your body will recall that. And the brain immediately starts to release all of the chemicals, all of the hormones that was in the body at that moment of that memory. So your body is reliving the moment. Therefore, you're locked in the past.
Yes.
It's insane action without you even knowing. Buddha explained this in the 4 layers of suffering, 4 noble truths, his first teachings ever. He explained that you're ignorant. You're ignorant, like. And it's the most beautiful thing to say to someone, including myself, that you're ignorant, because it brings up your innocence and your childlike living that you just didn't know. You're ignorant, like.
Yes.
He's so innocent, he didn't know. It's a lovely thing. A little child, they don't know. But what the knowing comes through your ego, and the ego is identified by your experiences. And if you've identified all your trauma, you've got a traumatic ego, and it's not a nice one. I had one of them once upon a time, and it wasn't a nice one.
Yes.
No, it wasn't a nice one.
Oh, I agree. The ego identification with the trauma is what keeps you in that loop and keeps the body in the past, right? Because you're reliving it. You're in a loop that you cannot break free from unless you.
But there's loads of good stuff in the past.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We've all had good experiences. There's the unique cases where they've had very few. There is, and we've helped them. But for the vast majority of people, there's been beautiful things happen, but they just don't look at them, because they're caught in the heavy stuff, the bad stuff, what they regarded as the injury or the trauma or the victimhood that they create themselves. But there's loads of good stuff. Now, if they go back and identify to that, it changes their ego instantly. That's what time jumping is. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You're changing something on the inside again, and so you're changing the perception of yourself and the ego, and which makes it different, right? Because if you,
absolutely. Because
if
literally, in the next moment, you're a different person.
Attached to certain suffering, or the ego let's go more and feel stronger, more confident, that changes complete. If you are here and your ego is identifying to suffering, or here it doesn't, from each moment on, there's two timelines that develop that go completely different paths, right?
They're expanding the same as everything else is.
Yes, but one is expanding it to a more negative trajectory, and the other one is on a more positive one, because it's just one tiny little thing that you changed of inner perception in one certain point in time, which splits the timeline, and you either go to a more negative life or a more positive.
So it's a fantastic way to heal from trauma.
Absolutely.
Yeah, without having to go through it.
Yes.
It's almost instant.
Yes.
Quantum healing.
Yeah, it is quantum healing. It is quantum healing. We call it quantum timeline jumping because we use timelines. But
that's the technique to attain the quantum healing.
Yeah, and to see where you are a powerful being, that your future self can influence your present self as much as your past self has influenced your present self right now. So, but there's quantum healing. I mean, that is related to this very much without the timelines, but you can just download quantum information from the field and solve any problem that you actually want. You just need to know how, and that's what we're.
You just need to be a magician.
Well, but then magic starts happening, and that's the beauty of it.
But everyone is a magician.
Yes, we are.
In the timeline, there's a magician aspect of everybody. Jump onto that timeline.
Yes. Oh, it's really magic, right?
Yeah.
We do it all the time. We're just not conscious of it. And what we're doing here is we're making that process conscious, so that you constantly realign yourself with that timeline that you want to be on. So it's really powerful. Yeah, it's really powerful.
Good.